speaking to the media for the very first time.
The Chaffee County mother has been missing for more than 3 months after reportedly going on a Mother's Day bike ride.
Fox 21's Lauren Sharp has been following this story since day one. Now Suzanne's husband, Barry, breaking his silence.
Now, Lauren, what did he tell you?
Scott and Taylor Barry Morphew told me he's devastated that he's still searching for his wife of 26 years and trying to piece together what may have happened to her. Barry declined an in-person interview and didn't want to want a recording of the call to be aired. But in our nearly 30-minute conversation, he mentioned the possibility of an animal attack, a run-in with an unknown person, or even suggested someone who knows her well.
Honey, I love you. I want you back so bad.
That's Barry Morphew, a week after Suzanne, his wife and the mother of his 2 daughters, disappeared, pleading for help. 95 days later, Barry says he's still searching. Quote, "My wife and I have been in love since 1988, and she's the love of my life, and I continue to search for her every day, and I will until I find her. I promise, and I promise my girls that." During our phone call, he mentioned several times of his family's deep faith, saying, "We don't know why God does what he does, but we have to trust him," telling me the reasons he's been silent. In the days and months following Suzanne's disappearance is finger pointing. I don't know why the husband doesn't speak out, right? Any info is good info if you're trying to find out what happened to the mother of your children. And the unfair perception that he's done something wrong. Juliet Fitzgibbons, an avid biker, found herself riding in the same area where Suzanne's bike was allegedly recovered. And I actually missed seeing the ribbon. I wish there was a bigger kind of memorial for her here. Others.
Someone had knocked on the window, and it was Barry Morphew,
questioning his search method.
He would write down like a description of maybe what she was wearing.
Tiffany Butala, a manager at Poncha Market, says Barry came to the store on May 12th with a brief note.
I really thought it was weird because he didn't explain what her color her eyes were, or her hair, or anything about her, you know, like how tall she was or anything.
At that time, Barry had not spoken publicly at all, despite our efforts in person and by phone to learn his side, and eventually he agreed, saying, "It's been 3 months. I'm still devastated. I'm still in a lot of pain. My heart is breaking for the loss of my wife." After a brief first call, Barry and I spoke again, and he explained, telling me, "That's the reason why I had you call me back. I am afraid of what is out there. People don't know the truth, so they're going to think what they're going to think." And for the first time, responding to allegations made by Suzanne's side of the family that he refused polygraphs, saying, "I've never been asked to do a polygraph. There is nothing that I'm hiding. I have given 30 hours of testimony to the FBI and the CBI. I've answered every question, every single question." Private investigator Dan Corsentino, who's worked in law enforcement for 25 years and was a former Pueblo County sheriff and Fountain police chief, says even if a person is asked to submit to a polygraph, it could be reasonable for that person to refuse.
An investigator may offer a polygraph only to have the subject or the person of interest refuse it based on legal advice, knowing the polygraph is not admissible in a courtroom. So therefore, what's the use of taking it?
Also during our call, Barry explained what he called an inconsistency with one timeline in what he told investigators. Quote, "It was only because I didn't know the time that I did something, a mechanical thing to my Bobcat. I was confused and I just found out my wife was missing." And he's concerned in Chaffee County Sheriff's Office handling of this investigation, particularly on the day his wife's bike was found. Telling me my buddy was there right after that, and he said that they completely destroyed the evidence, and he tried to stop them, but they wouldn't listen to him, and said this is not CSI. There's no evidence for the investigators to see because the sheriff's department completely obliterated it. And Barry said their mistakes explain why people are questioning him.
Most investigators start with the people closest to the alleged victim in the case.
But Barry is adamant, saying the sheriff's department screwed this whole thing up from beginning, and now they are trying to cover it up and blame it on me. And in the meantime, he says he's doing what he can to keep going, telling me this is the most devastating thing that has ever happened to me. But I have got to keep my faith and trust in God, and Suzanne trusted the Lord. And if one person got saved from this, she would think it was worth it. And we are just a godly, loving, caring family, and this thing is just a tragedy. Barry said he promised his 2 daughters he would continue to look for their mother every single day. And I also made another call to Suzanne's father, her only living parent. You can hear that entire conversation right now on fox21news.com. I also reached out to the Chaffee County Sheriff for his response to my conversation with Barry, but he did not get back to me despite my efforts. It's been more than a month since a press release with a statement or an update from the sheriff has been sent.
What's happening, folks? Let me say hello to everybody right quick. I want to start this off in a good mood, man. I really, really honestly do. I want to start this off in a good mood. I want to start this off on a pleasant note because we'll go over that in a second. Hold on one second. Let me shut this thing up.
In the Pikes Peak region. Secretary of Defense Mark asked for a...
Sorry about that. So let me say hello to everybody, and then we'll get started. Susie Pops, Renee, Loving Life at Home, Tracy L, Go Hogs. Email was posted. It was also running across my screen. Tara Lee, Angel Eyes, Peggy Sue, Bang Bang Kiss Kiss 007. I'm just going to call you Hound. I think that you've got these 2 Z's like they're supposed to be lightning bolts. So I'm calling you Hound because I feel stupid every time I go Z-Hounds or I go Hounds because I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But it's still kind of cool. Caleb, my man. All right. Lauren Elizabeth. Again, if I say your name twice, it's because you are that nice. And if I forget to say your name, it's because I am lame. Sorry about that. Monkey Mar. That girl. It's good to see you. All right. So I wanna be in a good mood, man. For those of you who were here last night, and I went over this because that news story that I just played had not been made yet. There was a written article, and I kind of read the meat in that, and first off, I want to apologize. I don't know why I got some comments on the last live from last night about the chat not being visible, and I don't know why the chat's not visible. I did not excuse me, I'm sorry. I did not disable the chat in any way whatsoever, so I don't know why. So I'm sorry about that. I've got my issues right now with YouTube and Google. But I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna get into that right now. But the chat, not the chat, but the comments in last night's live. If you go back and read them, they're pretty entertaining. I had some pitchforkers in there, man. And that's what this is going to be mostly about. We're going to address that stuff. We're going to talk about that stuff because I got to tell you, man, I think that I'm dealing with some real fucking morons. It just is. It just is. And I don't mind saying that either. Like, if somebody, here's my thing on stupid, right? If somebody's stupid, it's not really their fault, right? It's a learning disability or whatever. I don't hate on anybody for being born the way they are, and they can't think that, I'm stupid in a lot of different ways too. So I'm not ragging on the intellectually impaired at all, but I am ragging on those who are ignorant and seem to consciously choose to ignore logic. And I like to call those people morons. So if you're one of these people that I'm saying the same things over and over again, it's like we're having two different conversations. And the reason why I say that we're having two different conversations is because you are in a mindset of Barry is guilty and it's just a matter of time before he goes to prison, and I trust law enforcement and blah, 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 right? Well, here's the thing. You're talking to me and arguing with me as though at some point I said he is innocent. I never said that. I'm not saying that I think he's innocent. What I'm saying is logic dictates that I cannot sit here and call a man guilty any faster than I can call him innocent, because we don't know anything. So, but all of the, as I stated last night, all of the details of the case so far tell me that I have more reason to, the empathetic side of me, the person who makes a conscious effort to have empathy for other people, especially people who I've never met, people who I don't know. So I make a conscious effort to have empathy, and my way of having empathy for Barry is to not assume that this is a person who would do one of the most horrible things that anybody could ever think of doing to his own wife and mother of his two daughters. My mind doesn't go there. My mind just automatically doesn't go there the way it does you. And I think that's shitty that your mind goes there. And I think it's even shittier that when somebody takes the time to explain to you that that's shitty, you choose to completely dismiss it and ignore it and continue to argue and make the same empty points over and over and over again. Like, yeah, I get it. I get that the person that law enforcement looks at first are the people closest to the victim. Absolutely. Sure. Yeah, I get that. We all acknowledge that. We all understand that. We're all fairly intelligent people. We all have ears. We all have eyes. We all have brains. Some of us choose to use our brains a little bit more than others. But I won't hold that against you just yet. What I'm saying, though, is you're choosing not to, well, I guess I am going to hold it to you right now. You're choosing not to listen to reason. You're choosing to hear what comes out of my mouth and interpret it however you want to, which is on me. I'm going to take accountability for that, because I continue to talk to you with hope that you'll somehow go, shit, okay, I see what you're saying. Because I already see what you're saying. It's not like I'm sitting here going, I don't know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're saying that you believe in your gut that he's guilty. You think that the circumstantial evidence that is surrounding this case is enough to believe that Barry Morphew is responsible for his wife's disappearance. I get it. I heard you. I heard you every time. But what you're not hearing is that there's nothing other than these circumstantial things that you are referring to. That's why it's circumstantial. There's a clear explanation for everything. There's multiple explanations. But so far, there's nothing that says he did that shit. There's nothing definitive that says that. So why am I not getting through to you in that sense? I don't understand. Well, why wasn't this getting through to you with every other case prior to this? That's what I don't understand. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Thank you, Caleb. Hey, there's that 90%. I corrected that to 50%. But there was a little bit of that other 50% in there too. But yes, Kel's Love and Life. This is absolutely, yes, this is about Barry. But it's more about, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to get into this lore in person. Again, like I mentioned yesterday, if you want to hear, I have my opinions on the way that she conducted that story and the way that she put that story together and put it out there and how she went about it. But I will let Kay handle that. My issue is, why are you so quick to jump to these very, very dangerous conclusions about someone that you don't even know? It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, and I got to a point, I'm not going to lie, I got to a point where I just stopped giving a shit, and I'm just going to call you fucking stupid. Just like I did in the comments of the last live that I did. I stopped. I was just like, oh my God, it's the same people over and over again. The same asshole that was blowing up my chat yesterday blew up my comments with the same stupid bullshit. And I mean, it always comes to the same place too. They always go to the same thing. You know, oh, well, you know, it's statistics. Statistically, they try to sound smart. Statistically, the spouse is the one who's guilty. If you look at the statistics, motherfucker, I know what the statistics are. That doesn't prove anything, is my point. And it's not enough to make me go to a place where I'm like, oh, it's just not. And for somebody who has the vocabulary to argue with me in my comment thread, well, why can't you just put that together? Because I'm not only calling you fucking thick and dense, I'm calling you shitty. That's shitty. To automatically just assume the worst of a person. There's a reason why the system works in a sense of where it's innocent until proven guilty, because it is crazy. You are fucking with someone's life, whether it be in a courtroom or in public. But the court of public opinion is just as damaging to a person's life. And you're contributing to it, and you're doing it with enthusiasm. So I don't understand why when I go, hey, that's really crazy. I mean, imagine that. Imagine if the tables were turned and it was you, right? Imagine if the tables were turned, it was you and your loved one went missing, and then out of nowhere, there's thousands of people in groups, in YouTube chats, just going, oh, look at their eyes. They're evil. Look at what I know they're lying. Look at them. They're lying. Look at how evil they are. They should be publicly executed. I mean, imagine if that was your loved one. And everything this dude was saying is the only thing, okay, I want to correct another thing. He claims, he actually denies being asked to take polygraphs. Somebody in Suzanne's family supposedly said that Barry refused to take 2 polygraphs. That's somebody, nobody, I mean, we don't know who that source is. We don't know if they only spoke to Lauren, right? So, I mean, we don't even know if that's even, that right there is a rumor. The fact that he's denying it, denying even taking a or denying a polygraph test, like that, he's saying it was never even put on the table. Nobody came to me with a polygraph test. That's crazy. That's a rumor. But I did sit through 3 30-hour interviews, which he was nice enough to call interviews after saying, or not after, but basically almost in the same breath saying that law enforcement destroyed evidence at the scene where Suzanne's bicycle was found. He's saying that no, there was nobody asked me to take a polygraph. And then you have an experience. Now, this is the thing. I don't know what to think of this Lauren lady, because she's banging on his door. She's in one instance making him seem like he's eluding her, which, again, that's the other argument I keep hearing. Everybody keeps blasting that comment in my comment thread too. Oh, well, he's not saying anything. He's not saying anything to anybody, so, he's got to be guilty. No, man. Your lawyer advises you to be quiet. Innocent or guilty, don't talk. Especially in a high-profile case like this, because of assholes like you who are blasting all over social media that this man is guilty of, we don't even know what. So that makes no sense. And again, I'm not saying that Barry Morphew is innocent. I'm saying that I don't know that he's innocent any more than you know that he's guilty. How does that not? I'm trying to relate to you when I put it like that. How do you not? Everybody's like, well, we'll see. We'll see what you're. Wait. That's what it always ends up at. It always ends up with that comment. Well, we'll see. Once he's arrested, I'm going to see what you sound like then. Like I'm sitting here saying he's innocent. Here's the difference between you accusing this man of before I say that, another thing that I hear all the time is, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. After blasting the guy all over social media, after being a wheel on that moving shit show of a train of publicly crucifying this dude, your disclaimer for doing it is, well, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. No, man, that doesn't change the damage that you're causing currently to this family. That doesn't change any of that. So here's the difference between my perspective and your perspective, right? Because even if I was sitting here saying that Barry is innocent, when the time comes and I'm wrong, I'm not going to have anything to apologize for. You fucking pricks. You're going to have something to apologize for because you're doing something shitty and you know it. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. Shut the fuck up. How about that? How about just sit and wait for the results. Or get off your fucking social justice warrior ass, keyboard social justice warrior ass, and go look for her. If not, shut the fuck up because you sound stupid. It's just the same thing over and over again. I'm hearing the same thing over and over again. Well, we'll see how your tune changes once he's arrested. Like, my tune's not going to change. My tune hasn't changed about Letitia Stock. And I ragged on you motherfuckers back then too. My tune hasn't changed on Shane Carey for obvious reasons. Hell, even with Chris Watts. With Chris Watts, I was in a Chris Watts group and I kept saying the same thing. Like, you don't know. It was crazy how many people had this guy already just because of watching a TV interview. Oh, look at his mannerisms. Look at his face. He must be lying because I'm a fucking human lie detector. I'm a fucking body language expert. No, dude. You're a dickhead sitting in front of a TV or in front of a phone. Right. Yeah, Caleb, exactly, man. That was just so funny to me. That was just a channel that like all of a sudden they felt edgy because they were fucking throwing Letitia Stock under the bus, and then people were like, oh, they're ripping on Letitia Stock. So they packed all up in that chat, and because they saw everybody packed into that chat, they felt, oh, well, this is working, so we're just going to keep going with it, and we're just going to keep talking about this lady like she's guilty before we know shit. Like, but if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. Like, why not avoid, in the first place, being in a position to where you would have to apologize? What that translates to me is, I don't give a fuck how I affect people's lives. I could give a rat's ass about anybody but my channel. That's what that translates to me. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize is what comes out of your mouth. What I hear is, I'm a fucking asshole who doesn't give a shit about anybody but myself. So I can't fucking relate to you, dude. Any of you people with your little troll accounts leaving all these comments and trying to debate me in my comment thread, and like I'm gonna say anything different than what I ranted and raved about in my live stream. Of course, I'm not seeing them here now. I'm almost tempted to just pull a fucking K and just be like, drop a link and let anybody fucking come up here and try to argue their point with me. Because again, like I said yesterday, if I can shut down your bullshit circumstantial argument, what do you think a high paid attorney is going to be able to do? Probably a team of attorneys. Because if I'm Barry Morphew, man, I'm sparing no expense. I'm sparing absolutely no expense. That's my life. All right, who's whining in my chat? Hold on, who's bitching and moaning in my chat right now? Somebody complaining about me cussing. I'll tell you why I'm cussing. First of all, it's how I talk. It is, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you what's going on right now. Full disclosure, guys. So I've been waiting for literally months. How long have I had 1,000 subscribers, guys? I've had 1,000 subscribers for months and months and months, right? And so it's my own fault in part because the address that I had in here did not contain an apartment number. And so when I set up monetization for my channel, I failed to have an apartment number. So I never got, what happens is Google or AdSense sends you a PIN number in the mail so that nobody else can, hack your shit. So Google sent this thing, I guess, and I didn't have an apartment number. It got sent back, right? But then COVID happens. Once I realized it's supposed to take a month tops to get here, and it took 2.5 months went by, and I was like, what the hell? So I went back. I realized the mistake I made. I put in the apartment number. They said they resent it, right? So another month goes by, and I'm like, what the hell? And then another 2 months goes by, and I'm like, what the hell? And then it says that due to the COVID-19 situation, mail may take longer than it's supposed to, right? And then so I request for it to be sent again. And this time it was supposedly sent on the 26th of last month. So I'm still waiting on it. But here's the irony is I was still having my lives monetized. And obviously, if you keep the profanity to a minimum, then, you're more likely to get monetized. And if I'm going to, if I can make a couple of bucks from doing this, I'm going to do that. And anybody would. You'd be a fool not to. Right. And I looked at it like, well, maybe it's a good opportunity to try to broaden my vocabulary a little bit and not use so many swear words. And but then they decided to send me an email and tell me that the monetization is completely cut. Like I'm not going to have any ads running during my thing, whatever. Super chat is disabled. And it's because I failed to put in a PIN number. Like, I'm waiting for the fucking PIN number. Google. So, what the fuck? So now, since they cut off the super chats, they cut off everything, I'm like, fuck it, whatever. If it fucking bothers you that I cuss, don't listen. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck attitude right now. So, and it's not that serious, bang, bang, kiss, kiss. It's not that serious. It's just, if I put it this way, if I was doing this for money, I wouldn't be sitting up here doing this right now. You know what I'm saying? Is it nice when people show support? It's great. I love it, and I'm super grateful, but that's not why I do it. And, I if like I said, if it was the reason why I was doing this, I wouldn't be up here doing it. So I'm here to kick it with you guys and talk about what's on my mind with this kind of stuff. And but I'm happy to do it. Even if I get really annoyed and pissed off at a lack of common sense, well, whatever. it gives me something to talk about. So, but yeah, I was really blown away as to how many comments I got on last night's live throughout the day. And I got a lot of really positive ones, and a lot of them from very familiar ones. And I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to people. There are people who always consistently leave really nice comments. And they leave really nice comments, and they catch the replay, because I guess I go on pretty late, or for whatever reason they can't catch the live. So I want to throw a shout out to the Foo. The Foo is really, really sweet. And oh wow, Tara Miller, thank you so much. That was really, really sweet. Thank you. I appreciate the PayPal. The Foo always leaves really, really positive comments. And the Finn as well always leaves really positive comments. And of course, Joan Brown, Robbie's mom, she always leaves really nice comments. And I'm really grateful for that, because, you know, I'm here and I love to hang out with you guys and just kind of hang out and talk with the people who are live in my chat. So it's like a big bonus when I happen to get a notification on my phone when I'm at work, and I might be even either having a crappy day or even having a good day. So it always makes my day a little bit better in some form or another, to you know, because it's like a bonus when somebody says, "Oh my God, I'm listening and I love what you said here," and it's really, really cool, man. So I'm really grateful that people actually take the time out to log in and listen to this shit. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you guys really like it, man. I mean, I like talking, so, you know, so it's a win-win for us all, I guess. But even still, man, when people, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of a pleasure from telling people totally what I think, you know, and that's gonna happen. Listen, if you're gonna leave negative comments, right now, again, if you leave comments that make sense to me, if you or make sense, period, they might not even have to make sense to me, but I pride myself in the ability to be able to look at that comment and go, you know what, that doesn't necessarily make sense to me, but I'm not going to dismiss it as something that is just plain fucking dumb, because I may have to think about it for a second, because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, you know, I'm aware of that, and it's okay. But when people, you know, when these pitchforkers have nothing. And I always challenge them, like, show me proof. Give me something that's going to change my mind and make me go, Barry Morphew is guilty of whatever happened to his wife, Suzanne. And here, while I'm on that subject, I meant to make this point, and I don't want to keep going without making this point, because I want to be fair. I want to be fair. During that interview, during that clip that I was playing, I noticed it. I just didn't want to interrupt it. But during that interview, and where he's quoted, he does at one point refer to Suzanne in a past tense. That is something that I've always looked at, that's always been a red flag for me. But again, that doesn't prove anything. Chris Watts did it. Letitia Stock did it in her interview. So, and he just did it. And I've always been very vocal that that's been a red flag for me. And he did do that, and I did notice that. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm being biased here. I'm really not. I'm not quick to completely to contribute to a mob that is dead set on ruining this man without really knowing anything, without having any proof, because a gut feeling's just not going to cut it for me. I don't know you. Your credibility, that you have no credibility with me. You're a name on YouTube. You don't have any credibility with me. So when you say it's just a feeling I got, it's not like we're cops and we're on the street and we're partners and I'm like, what do you think, partner? And then you're like, I don't know, chief, but it's I got a gut feeling. You know, that's not the dynamic we have. You're just some fucking stranger commenting on my live streams. That's the truth. As much as I appreciate you listening, as grateful as I am that you subscribed and you listen, I'm not trying to downplay that at all. I'm very, very grateful at that. But understand the realistic nature of our association. And the realistic nature of our association is I don't fucking know you. So your gut feeling holds no water as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that you would think that it does kind of blows my mind. And that's why I don't mind calling you stupid. Because you can put that together if you just take a second, instead of letting your mind go, oh my God, this guy's an asshole. Which, fair enough, I kind of am. But not for the reasons that you think I'm an asshole. That's not, you don't get to have that. You don't get to sum me up because you don't fucking know me. You don't get to sum me up and be like, this guy's an asshole. And you damn sure don't get to sum me up simply because I'm not agreeing with your pattern of thinking. And yeah, hey, mods, thank you for dropping that PayPal, man. I didn't mean to start bitching about money, but thank you for dropping that PayPal. I appreciate anybody who has. If I get the notifications on my phone, so when I'm ranting and raving, I don't see it, and if I don't mention it right now, I apologize. But normally, what I do is I send a thank you email because it allows me to contact whatever email you have through PayPal. It allows me to contact you and say thank you. So I usually make it a point to do that if I can. But I appreciate the support, guys. It's really nice. Just the fact that you feel I deserve support is what I'm mostly grateful for. So thank you for that. Yes, that girl. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I don't know where my instincts for moderators came from. Like I had like the poorest judgment in moderators at one point, and then that all just blew up immediately. Like all of that, I was without a mod team pretty much, aside from like one or two, and then I just started wrenching people, and I made like the best choices in wrenching people. So thank you guys for that. And I'm gonna look over chat a little bit here. Again, I wanted to keep things light. I did go on a rant there, but let's see. Amy, Chris and T used past tense almost from moment one. Barry has been sitting with this for a minute. Maybe that could be a reason, right? And let's be honest. The difference is there between Chris Watts and between Chris Watts is already pled guilty and is now in prison, has been sentenced and is currently serving his sentence. So that's a done deal, So yeah, whether or not, I mean, that right there, not whether or not, but the fact that he did speak of Bella and Cece in a past tense during his television interview, well, it's fair to say, okay, that is a subconscious mechanism where he already knows that they're dead and he kind of gave it away. Now, as far as Letitia Stock, she has not been convicted yet. She still has yet to stand trial or plead guilty. I'm still in hopes that she's going to do that, but I don't think she will. But I think with the evidence that we know law enforcement has against her at the moment, it's pretty safe to say I believe that she's guilty. I'm okay with that. The difference between that and Barry Morphew is there's not enough. There's no bloody crime scene that we're aware of, like we are with Letitia Stock. When it comes to Barry Morphew and Suzanne Morphew, there's no bloody crime scene. We know We know that the police suspected him at one point. Absolutely. We absolutely know that. I'm acknowledging that. I'm not denying that, people. I know that at one point they searched a property looking for Suzanne's body. They broke into a slab of concrete looking for her body. But the thing is they were wrong. That speaks volumes, guys. That speaks volumes. Tell me it does not. How can you deny that that speaks volumes, that they had a hunch and that their hunch was wrong, or they got information and that information was wrong? Not only that they turned up empty in their investigation, but they are still, as far as we know, are turning up empty in their investigation. Oh, that doesn't shock me at all. Right there. That doesn't shock me at all. That's if I had to pick 5 channels where I had to guess, and you were to tell me, hey, that chick from last night, she's on a channel, you get 5 guesses, that channel would be one of them. So I'm not surprised or shocked at all. That channel, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna call them out by name right now, even though I put it up on the screen. But I'm not gonna call that channel out by name, only because I've never had any problems with them personally. I don't know them. I'm not a fan of the channel, but to me, that's just one of the many channels that sees an opportunity and then jumps all over it like flies on shit. So, let's see what you got here. Thank you. Thank God, the glare. You're speaking up. Barry has been hung by a bunch of bitches. Oh, and they give me hell every day too. Yeah, well, God forbid you don't go with the mob, right? God forbid you don't follow the mob. Exactly. Love and life at home. Barry is being convicted in social media based on hearsay and no evidence. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that channel, man, it's always rumors. And I'm always like, well, but I mean, that's the thing. That's the reason why I never trash that channel, is because I just don't watch it. I just, like anybody else, just like I tell anybody who doesn't like this channel, well, don't fucking watch it. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to me. But so that's what I choose to do with that channel. And I know it's I mean, there's a lot of views and a lot of subscribers, and that's what people are into. That's fine. But the only thing that bothers me is that people look at it and they can't tell the difference between rumor and fact. And I will give this channel credit in the sense that they will say, when I've seen their videos in the past on the Gannon stock case, that channel would say, well, this is just rumor, but there's this and this and this to think about, right? That's cool. At least acknowledge the fact that it's rumor. I do that. I'll say, this is just a rumor. I don't know if it's fact or not, but I put a lot more emphasis on it, and I go live. I don't make videos. So it's just a quick disclaimer. And, me personally, since I would do what I do here, and I do live streams, and I would emphasize as much as I possibly can that do not take what I'm saying here as fact, because I am not sure. So I'm gonna go a little bit more here. Oh, thanks, Bang Bang Kiss Kiss. Yeah, I agree with you, Caleb. As always, man. As always, I agree with you, man. I mean, dude, how this can you imagine what it's like? Let's assume that Barry is completely and totally innocent just for a second. Humor me through this thought, right? Let's assume that Barry is completely and totally innocent and he legitimately just misses his wife. Can you imagine what it's like being him right now, in the sense that, like, no matter what he does, anything that he does or says is going to be picked apart, and it's going to be twisted. It's going to be dissected, and it's going to be twisted. Literally everything that this man does that the public gets a hold of. This man couldn't even do a push-up contest without the world coming down on him, saying that he doesn't care about the fact that his wife is missing. A push-up contest, dude. My guy, how are you going to get on a man's case for doing a push-up contest? How does that make him guilty? And I know what you're saying. Well, what it does is it reflects that he's not out looking for his wife, and he's more concerned about his fitness and his physical appearance. No, let me explain to you something about... Now, I don't know the reasons why Barry is big into fitness. It could be pure vanity. Who knows? But as I've stated on this channel before, fitness is very important to me because it is a method to which I use to cope. It is a method that I use to manage my anxiety and depression. I am clinically depressed. I am clinically anxious. I have anxiety issues. I always have. I've never known exactly how to manage. I've always suppressed them with drug use or alcohol, or I've just lashed out and acted like an asshole. Just angry all the time and shitty, right? But I eventually what happens is that just eats you and eats you and eats you to a point to where you just end up hitting bottom, and there's nowhere to go but underneath. And that wasn't an option for me at the time. And I had to completely and totally change my way that I dealt with each day, daily, the way that I think, and the way that I live my life. And exercise helps me put things into perspective. When you get to a point after doing so many miles on a bike or on a row machine, so many meters, it's and you get into this zone, right? Where you get past the point where I'm like, shit, God, I'm tired. Come on, you could just go a little bit more, a little bit more. You actually get past that point. I'm always looking for that place when I'm exercising where I get past that point, and then I'm just instinctually moving. My body's not going to stop. And it's kind of magical when that happens, because I'm no longer thinking. I'm no longer thinking about what I'm doing. And then my mind is in a place where everything is just very easy to organize. I could just take things in my head and put this here, put that there, put this here, put that there while I'm exercising. And having discovered that I can do that made me kind of addicted to it. So I made this a habit and a practice. So when I think of Barry Morphew exercising just out of wanting to be empathetic and relate to another human being, walk a mile in their shoes. The only way that I can do that is to relate what they're doing to why I do things, right? Isn't that only natural? I feel like that's only natural. So when I do that, I look at Barry and I think, well, you know, this is probably exactly what I would be doing if my wife was missing. I can't imagine what it's like trying to sleep at night. Right. Renee, much better than drinking. And you know what pisses me off about drinking the most? And I still do it from time to time. I'm not for a while now. I haven't in a couple of weeks. And a big part of it is I'm doing this insane thing right now, where I'm dieting and I'm doing 2 workouts a day. And I was already doing 2 workouts a day, but now I'm dieting and being very strict with it. And part of that diet is no drinking. And I have to do this for 75 days, and I'm on like day 6. So it's not easy. And you know, I'm eating, like today I had a big thing of like spring greens, basically just like a certain type of lettuce and spinach and whatever else. And I dumped olive oil all over it and a little bit of honey mustard dressing. And I ate that and a lot of pepper, a lot of black pepper. But I just, it's not easy because there's a McDonald's right by my job. There's Taco Bell, and I crave that stuff all the time. And a lot of the reason why I came and went on live right now is because I don't want to think about how hungry I am and how bad I want to stuff junk food in my face. So this is a very positive distraction for me. So, but the issue with Barry, I can't imagine what he's going through. You know, so I try to put myself in that position. And I try, you know, so I find him doing that rather than being like, you know, buried in his basement under a bunch of cans of beer. You know, to me, I think good for you, Barry. You know, good for you that you're keeping yourself fit. So, but yeah, the comment where somebody said it feels better than drinking, it absolutely does feel better than drinking. Because either way, I exercise anyway. And if I go to the gym hungover, man, I don't have the motivation that I normally have. Alcohol is just the anti-new will. It really is. Now, because I've found a way to deal with the frustrations that go on through my head, the demons that I have, so to speak, the things that you live with, the scars that you have from your life, right? That would cause you to drink for the reasons of self-medicating. Well, the trick to not drinking for the reasons of self-medicating is to deal with those demons head on and really look at yourself in the mirror, which I make it a practice to do. It's not a one-time thing, and it's not something that you just turn off. It's something that you have to figure out how to deal with, and then you have to learn to deal with it all throughout your entire day, from the moment you wake up to the time you go to sleep. And that's what I do all the time. But so what that does is that allows me to drink recreationally, and it's fun and it's nice. The problem is the next day I feel too much like shit to exercise and meet the goals that I want to meet. So that's why I really want to minimize the drinking as much as I do. I already don't drink very often, even when I do drink. It's always maybe once a week, at the most. On average, I'd say once every 3 weeks. on average. But I won't be drinking for another 70 days at least. So, but it's a nice feeling. Like I feel good. I feel good when I wake up the next day and I know that I stuck to my diet the day before, but it's a whole new struggle all over again. But I can only imagine what it's like for Barry Morphew to try to go to sleep at night in an empty bed. I can only imagine what it's like to not have that person. It seems to me that him and Suzanne even had the same things in common. They were both very positive people and very into fitness. And I feel like they were something that they would either do together or at least have that to discuss at the end of their day and compare notes. Well, you know, I went to the gym and I did this and this and this today. Oh, man, that's interesting because you know what happens to me when I start to do that? Blah, blah, blah. I start to feel this over here. Blah, 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 blah. I could just imagine the conversations. But these are conversations that take place on common ground because they have similar interests. They have things that I can only assume, it's only responsible to assume, made a 26-year marriage work. So I envy that, honestly. So I look at people who are quick to just completely dismiss that. How, you know, I'm not too proud to admit that I envy that. You know, I talk a lot of shit about marriage. You know, like I'm never going to get married, blah, blah, blah. I like doing whatever the hell I want. But I'm not going to lie. I envy having that type of partnership with someone that you truly love and care about, someone that you've built a life with. And it's like, if you go down, I go down, right? But see, here's my theory on these pitchforkers. My theory is they envy that too. But their envy is that ugly envy. Their envy is that nasty, gross envy where their reaction to feeling that way towards another person's relationship is to think the worst because, well, if I can't have that, it's unfeasible to think that somebody else can. So what's going on with you? What's going on with you where you think that, you know, what are you so upset about? Why can't you be happy for someone else? Because that's where I'm at. I'm sad for Barry Morphew because I'm actually happy for him. I'm happy for what he and Suzanne seem to have had. I'm envious of it, which makes me feel sad for what he's going through right now. Now, again, he might be responsible. Who knows? But my mind doesn't just automatically go there. So I'm wondering, why does your mind automatically go there? When you don't have any hard evidence, why is your mind so quick to go to the worst possible place? Now, I know why YouTube creators do it. I'm not talking about YouTube creators. YouTube creators and media reporters, they do it because they know that there are people out there like you who are going to buy it. They know that there are so many bitter motherfuckers out there, bitter, envious motherfuckers that want to think the worst of somebody. So what they do is they apply supply and demand. You're demanding it, so they supply it. That's what the YouTubers are doing. That's what the reporters are doing, because they know there's a bunch of rotten, hateful motherfuckers out there just like you that want to think the worst. that want a horrible, dramatic outcome. And so they provide it to you. See, I refuse to do that, man. I refuse to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, but I cannot oblige you. I think it's important to remain objective, and I think it's important to be supportive of this man until there is a legitimate reason to not be supportive of him. And if not be supportive of him, be supportive of his daughters. You know, like, right. And again, what if you're wrong? There's other people in Barry and Suzanne's circle that I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But there are other people in that circle that, you know, I was talking to somebody recently, and I was having a private conversation with someone, and I said, you know, Barry seems to have he seems to have poor judgment in the people that he surrounds himself with. He seems to have a weird, I mean, there's some shifty characters that he seems to, and that person was like, yeah, you noticed that too? And I was like, yeah. Barry's the least. He's the last person in that in this particular group of people that I would look at and go, yeah, he did something. He's the last. And I don't see any reason other than, you know, just kind of getting a weird, But you know me, that's not enough for me to pass judgment on somebody. But then again, we also know that Barry Morphew in that interview has stated that it could be someone, when he's spouting out theories, he's saying, well, it could be someone that they know, or that she knew or knows. I don't mean to talk about her in a past tense either. I apologize for that. You know, and it's funny, like I have people on here that will talk about me, and they'll say, oh, Blair, he's just naive, man. He's an idealist. Can't hold that against him. But they look at me like I'm naive, like I'm, you know, like I'm not a realist. I am. I understand that these past cases have, you know, there are past cases that took place in Colorado that were, where the spouse turned out to be the person that was guilty. I'm aware of these high profile cases. I've talked about them on here. I know. I understand what the statistics are. I understand that what the likelihood is. But I'm not naive. When you don't get to call me naive for thinking I need more evidence before I pass judgment on somebody who's probably suffering right now. I don't think that makes me naive. I think that makes you a dick that you don't do that. So I'm not gonna. This is something that I'm never ever going to change about myself. This is something that, if you're going to be subscribed to this channel, and I noticed that I've got a lot of new subscribers in the last couple of lives that I've done. So anybody who's new, who's listening, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But every time I get a little wave of new subscribers, I feel, you know, the responsibility to tell you that this is the kind of thing you're going to get here. It's going to be unapologetic. It's going to be to the point. You're going to get my opinions. And if you lack the inclination to be logical, now you could be illogical. I'm okay with that. I'm illogical from time to time. But if you clearly lack the inclination to be logical or rational, I can't do anything with you. You're not going to have any place here in this chat. You're not going to be able to relate to me, and you're definitely not going to be able to relate to the other members of this channel, the other subscribers of this channel and members of this chat, because I have basically the same people in here that I always have. And I love that. So I'm not, you know, I'm never ever going to cater to what you think I should be saying or doing, because I have a very, very loyal group of listeners who count on me to be this genuine at all times. So it's not going to change. And again, you're not going to relate to anyone here. Hey, 1 hour drive floors. I'm glad you can make it. You're not going to relate to anyone here, because we all like to practice self-awareness here. We all like to practice accountability here. That's just what we do here. And it was really funny. I'm actually going to read this to you. Hold on a second. I'm going to read this to you. One of the comments, if I could find it. I think it's no. Oh yeah, there's 22 replies here. Jesus. So 22 comments, and there's this person named Penny Ostalos, right? And I'm not going to go through all the comments, but it gets to a point to where Penny Ostalos says, because you're a bully, which is usually the sign of low intelligence, and that's 1. 2, not a single thing you said leads me to believe any different. And 3, constant cursing is always a sign of self-doubt. It can be. I'll agree with you there. It can be. In my case, it's quite the sign of confidence, as to the contrary. But I responded with, self-victimization is a clear sign of failure to prove your point in a debate. We don't do that here. And she responds, what are you talking about? Again, we're not even speaking the same language. And then I explained to her, the fact that you have to ask me tells me that you not only lack accountability, but self-awareness. And then she says, or it means that you make no sense. That was her response to something that we in this chat talk about all the time. Her response was that it made no sense. And my response was, my subscribers would likely beg to differ with you. And then this S.A. Potts chimes in with, because Barry is a liar. So anyway, that's what I'm dealing with. So when I have the consistent group of people in here that knows exactly what I'm all about. They know exactly where I'm coming from. They relate to everything that I'm saying. I relate to everything they're saying. I never have problems in here. I mean, think about it. Think about it. Mods. Type in when was the last time you can remember having to mute someone, much less boot them from the chat? You know, like, we don't have those issues here, man. We don't have those issues here. We never have problems in here, dude. Because everybody who comes in here has a certain understanding. And part of that understanding is that we apply rationality and logic here. We make a conscious effort to do that. It's just what we do. So don't think for 1 second when you're sitting here and you're trying to convince me of something, of your perspective, when you've already tried and convicted a man in the court of public opinion of a crime that you don't even know took place. When you do that, understand, A, that I've heard it all before, and B, I've already considered what you're saying, and I've already tried to come to the same conclusions you do, but logic dictates that that's not a logical conclusion to come to. Oh, Caleb, nah, dude, you get a pass, dude. Caleb has like total carte blanche over saying whatever the fuck he wants in my chat. And it's funny because I don't have to, like, with my moderators, I don't have to have a group chat with everyone. We have a clear understanding of what I'm doing with this channel and what their place is to the channel, which is extremely important. But we have an understanding. We have a dynamic, me and my mods. I don't have to go and text them and explain this is what needs to be done during this live. I don't have to do that. These are just genuine people who believe in what I'm doing with this channel and have found a very, very productive way to contribute to it. And you know how we all work in symphony with each other on that level is we apply rationality and logic. Period. They think logically, I think logically. And we all we function harmoniously. It's pretty awesome. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that the very principles that I have based running my channel on don't make any sense in my comments. That's just not going to happen. That's just not that's completely and totally ridiculous to say, because the channel itself is proof. The channel itself presents its own truth. Oh, thanks, Amy. I appreciate that. And the fact that you know what I'm saying, like that girl, that's awesome that you say that. Because even when you can sit here and say that you get that means so much to me that you say that it's a good vibe, even though there's times where I'm heated and I'm just totally just throwing, I mean, and still think that it's a good vibe. I mean, that's the best compliment in the world. That tells me that you understand where my heart is and where it's coming from. And I don't have to explain myself to you. And I don't have to be like, wait. Before you start thinking that I'm a mean person, understand this is where you already know where I'm coming from. And I don't have to explain that. And that means so much to me that you understand me on that level. And that's more than I could ever ask. Because I still feel the need to explain myself thoroughly. What's up, The Spot? How we doing? The Spot, I don't think you are a bot because I have seen you in Kay's chat, actually, I believe. Your avatar is a little distracting, but, I'm not complaining. I'm sure it's not you. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it's still it's a nice avatar. But I bet that you get that a lot, that people think that you're a troll or a bot. So I realized tonight, guys, that I went over a lot of the same stuff that I went over last night. I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that news clip with you instead of just quoting it from my mouth. I wanted you guys to actually hear it. Not just coming from me, but actually hear it from the news. Whether you find that news to be reliable or not, I'll let you decide that. Like I said, I think that Kay is going to have plenty to say about it. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. But guys, I do believe I'm going to call it. It's Friday night. Have a happy Friday. I'll hopefully maybe come on tomorrow. Oh, before I log off, guys, very, very, very important. Dateline tomorrow night. Now, if you go on Xfinity, whatever, it's going to say tomorrow night at 8 on NBC is going to be hockey, but that was originally scheduled, but there's two teams that played each other, whatever. So hockey's not going to happen. What is going to happen is Dateline, the Dateline episode that my friend Sean McGavick was featured on because of that case that he basically broke and was directly responsible for breaking. And that's he's, yeah. Wow, it's crazy. 1 hour drive floors that you asked that. That's airing tomorrow night at 8:00 Eastern. So make sure that you guys watch that. Set your DVRs if you have a DVR. And I am going to follow up. I don't know exactly when. I might follow up with Sean tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe we'll follow the Dateline episode and then we'll go live and we'll discuss the case. But very, very important. So it's not even cable, guys. If you get NBC, everybody gets NBC, man. If you get NBC, watch Dateline tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we will be going over that case again. I'm going to revisit that case and I'm going to discuss it with Sean here. And you guys are going to be able to ask him questions. He's a really, really cool, laid back dude. And I'm proud to call him a close friend of mine. And I'm looking forward to it. So guys, make sure you do that. I'm going to call it. I love you guys very, very much. I meant every word that I said. And people, you know, pitchforkers that I've been bitching at and yelling at this whole time. You know, I know I insulted you. I don't expect you to. I don't expect you to be like, oh, Claire's a nice guy. I don't expect that to happen. But if some part of you does, you know, and I managed to get through to you in my perspective, you are absolutely 100% welcome here. And I look forward to interacting with you. And I am grateful that you have subscribed. And I'm even grateful that you took the time to listen. Whether you got anything from it or not, I am grateful that you took the time to listen. And I really mean that. So everybody, guys, I love you. And we will be doing this again very, very soon, my friends.